you. All right, so today's topic I wanted to share about is in regards to food intolerance. Let's start that again. Food intolerances and allergies. And let's just talk about whether or not this even applies to you. And I think right off the bat, we should just address the issue of, the issues that can arise when it comes to tummy issues and even some emotional issues. When we feel these things on occasion, that's just totally normal. I want you to realize that, feeling some tummy issues, we're going to talk about a few of them. It's totally okay to have those things sometimes. And even some emotional issues, it's totally okay to have those things sometimes. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're dealing with a food intolerance or an allergy. But let's dig into it a little bit further and see if maybe this is something that is maybe happening a little too regularly and maybe leading to something your body is either allergic to or just a little intolerant to, and you can feel a little bit better. So some of the tummy issues that can come up when it's happening on a consistent basis, this is when we might want to start asking ourselves questions. Things like gas and bloating and constipation and diarrhea. When those things are happening occasionally, like I said, that's totally normal. I think sometimes these days we need to go, okay, well, that's okay to feel that sometimes. But when it's happening consistently, that's when we want to start to maybe dig a little bit deeper and ask ourselves some questions. And the same thing with some emotional issues. When we're feeling worry or tiredness or mood swings, anxiety, overwhelm, or even a lack of motivation on a consistent basis, this is when we want to start to ask ourselves a few more questions. And even maybe talk to our doctor about some things. So what could be going on, and what we want to start to ask ourselves to figure out what might be going on is, first, are we overeating? We kind of got to get a little bit real with ourselves when we're feeling these things consistently is, okay, am I maybe overeating here? And am I eating a balanced diet? Am I eating all of my food groups in a balanced way? Am I eating enough food? Because sometimes we undereat also. Are you drinking enough water? That's something else we want to really check in with on ourselves. Are you getting enough sleep? All of these things can really start to lead to how we're feeling both physically and emotionally, and they can really lead to how our body digests and processes food. So, if you answer those questions, you're like, okay, there's something I need to really address there, then cool. Maybe try out addressing that and see if that helps you feel a little bit better consistently. And if you think there's something else going on a little bit deeper, then I encourage you, number one, definitely talk to your doctor, but also let's talk a little bit about what is the difference between a food intolerance and a food allergy, because I don't know about you, but I really didn't understand what in the world the difference was. So I did a little bit of research, and I want you to know right off the bat, I am not an expert in this, but I did do a little bit of research on this, so I'll share with you what I've learned about it. So a food allergy is an immune response to a compound in the foods that you're eating or in a food that you're eating. So it's an immune response to a compound in the food. And it's the body producing an antibody that's actually called an IgE. And some of the reactions that can happen are rashes, difficulty breathing, extreme swelling, vomiting, hives. Those are the types of reactions that typically will happen when we have an immune response due to a food allergy. And some of the most common allergies that are out there are allergies to milk, eggs, tree nuts, peanuts, shellfish, wheat, soy, and really kind of all fish. Those are some of the most common allergies. So if you think you might be dealing with an allergy, then I really encourage you do talk to your doctor about it to get tested to see if that is what's going on. A food intolerance is when your body has the inability to properly digest the compound of the food. So that's typically due to the lack of an enzyme needed to break down that compound. So it's a little different than an immune response, but your body's lack of that enzyme in the body to break down the nutrients in the food. So some like a really common intolerance that we often hear of and often many of us have, you may or may not have this particular one, is lactose intolerance. And something that I have learned is just because you may have an intolerance to a food doesn't mean you have to completely cut that food out of your life. It may just mean you just need to reduce the amount of the food that you're eating. And I think that's such a awesome thing to hear, right? Because so often we want to still eat these foods. They're so often the foods that we love the most. And we're like, oh, I don't want to cut them out. And it makes it so hard when they are the foods that we love the most. So it's so refreshing to hear it may not mean that we need to cut them out completely, but we may just need to learn the right amount for our body to eat so that we can feel our best. And I'll tell you, I have a gut protocol program that I'm launching in just about a week that's going to help guide us through learning just that, identifying the foods that our body has some intolerances to. So learning those foods that your particular body has those intolerances food and the right amounts for you and how to work that into your everyday life. So some of the symptoms that can come up when you have an intolerance to a food, it's a long list, are things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, gas, cramps, bloating. A lot of times you'll feel these things consistently, like right after you eat. Headaches too, and heartburn. So all of these symptoms, they are very directly related to your gut. But I want you to know this too. There's a lot of emerging research that has found our gut health has a really strong impact on our overall health that is also related to our emotional health too. So our mindset, how we feel being motivated and positively moving forward too. So whenever we're feeling these kinds of things on a consistent basis, when we work to improve our gut health, it's going to help that overall health also. And one thing I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you've ever noticed this too, that when I'm feeling either down or anxiety's high or overwhelmed, that's when my cravings are high. My emotions kind of crave things. And for me, they usually crave either sweets or my emotions will crave salty snacks. And it's usually craving something that's not so great for me. But if I kind of overcome that craving and I go for something that is more fueling for my body, better for my body, what my body really needs in those moments instead, then that's when I'm actually able to truly feel those emotions and process those emotions and move through those emotions. Rather, when I actually go for what my emotions are craving, if I eat that, then I actually stay stuck in the emotion and I'm not able to really move and process through the emotion. It just hangs on and I feel like this. I don't know if you've ever noticed that too. And I just believe there may actually be such a strong correlation to what I'm eating in my gut health in that emotional connection. So if this gut protocol program, if this sounds like something that may be helpful to you and you want to learn more about, it's going to help guide you through identifying those foods, identifying also the lifestyle practices that may actually help you to really feel better emotionally and physically, then I'd love to share some more information about it with you. We're going to be starting really soon here, and it's something that we can work on together. And I have a virtual community that where you get that support and accountability, so you're not alone in doing this. So if you want more info, then go ahead and just drop a message below. I will also post in the recording of this video the link where you can join the wait list to get more info sent over to you. I hope this was helpful to you so you can start to understand the differences between food intolerances and food allergies and begin to start to think, hey, is this something that you may actually be just living with and dealing with? Because I think so often these are things that we've learned to just say, hey, okay, it's not so bad, I'll just live with it. But maybe we can actually feel a little bit better after all, or maybe a lot better. All right, I hope you have a really great day, and I'll chat with you all soon.